Did you know that most AI projects fail, not because of the model, but because of missing data foundations, governance, and operationalization? In this session, we explore how the AI and data foundation of SAP BTP enables custom AI at enterprise scale, turning governed business data into secure, production-ready AI embedded directly into real business processes. Welcome everyone to today's live expert session. We're thrilled to have you join us. I have the pleasure of having with me Hadi Hares and Christoph Morgen. Christoph leads product management for SAP HANA Cloud Tabular AI machine learning, driving innovations in the predictive analysis library, the machine learning client for Python, and its integration and use within SAP applications, including Gen AI-assisted use case scenarios for SAP HANA Cloud. Christoph has been with SAP in product management roles for over 13 years and has over 26 years of advanced analytics industry experience in solution management, pre-sales, and services. Hadi has been working as one of the global lead product managers in SAP Business AI, and his main responsibility is for SAP's Generative AI Hub. He joined SAP in 2018 and drove several customer projects as a business process consultant and data scientist. Hadi holds a master's degree in business and economics, majoring in data science. And now, without further ado, over to you, Hadi.
Thank you, Tanya, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. Let's get started. We have a full-packed agenda. So yeah, let's talk today about driving data and, or using the data and AI foundation on BTP. What does this mean? So let's try to cover a couple of possibilities so that you understand it better. So once there are challenges today that we need to solve, or holistically in the industry. Then there's also the topical topic, how to build AI business processes, make them faster, and so on and so on. And all those topics we will cover in a couple of next minutes throughout the session. If we look into the agenda quickly, we give a quick glimpse again on BTP. You might have seen this also from an earlier session. And then we will deep dive into the AI and data foundation for custom AI, since many of you, I guess, also interested in that. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So as you know, this is our overall SAP BTP platform. It consists, it's a multi-cloud platform. It has a lot of capabilities inside. We as SAP use them ourselves also, but we also provide this to our customers and partners, developers, that they can use that for they're augmenting their processes, applications, extensions, and so on, right? And we have a full breadth of capabilities here. As you see, agent and application development are covered. Underneath, we have integration as a big topic, and then of course the AI and data foundation. So broad range for developers to use and create business operations that really matters. If we then look into the details, what we have under the BTP offering, we have full capabilities of different areas that we see here. Let's focus quickly on the three main pillars, which is agent, application, and development. Here we have, you can build cloud-ready extensions, applications. You can create custom AI skills, agents, and so on. And then from integration perspective, we have, of course, and also there was a session earlier about integration suite, which is many of you might already use. We have here the end-to-end process integration for SAP and non-SAP solutions. We have event-driven, API-centric integration, hybrid integrations, and so on, because clear is the customer landscape, or your customer landscape is very different, and for that you need ways to integrate this to the platform. Then let's now focus on the lower part, which is the AI and Data Foundation, which is a comprehensive set of reusable services and AI capabilities for AI developers on BTP, but also normal developers. I mean, in today's world, every developer could be also an AI developer and vice versa. And to build powerful AI-driven extensions and scenarios. Basically all consisting of, let's say, an application that runs on BTP, and then you augment with the AI and Data Foundation many services that you build on top of it. So that's at least on that angle. Let me then quickly jump to what do we have now exactly in AI Foundation at a high level, right? So what can you do with the AI Foundation and AI Data Foundation? So we have what we call here is build, run, and connect your custom AI solution and agents on a business technology platform. It enables you really to do that. You can create AI deeply integrated into your business processes, which is the important part because AI itself might deliver some value, but the most important part is really to bake it into your business processes so they are getting it much more efficient. Here, of course, ensuring data confidentiality is super important because it's company data, it shouldn't spill out and so on. And all these things together builds a practical and effective AI strategy for you. In general, what we have now, if you look across those 5 pillars, we have data access, meaning we providing access to different types of data. We will cover this later. We have AI optimizations driven by vector engines, knowledge graph, and other things. We have then also the capabilities to build agents, extend Joule with agents, experiment, have orchestration in place so that your integrations and use cases works. And then ultimately, of course, run AI at scale because clear is that you can't just make, I don't know, a small POC and it's running in an enterprise fashion. You need to really scale. And last but not least is the bring AI to your data or connect it to your SAP specific knowledge, because that's where then the AI really gets a lot of context and is context rich, and then it brings value out of it effectively. So that at scale, high level is what we talk here about. We will, of course, now deep dive into what this exactly means. But first, let's cover again the challenges that we see, and we also looked across the different customers that we have, but also across the industry. And the challenge that we see today, today's organization is the pace of innovation. As you might know, there's like every 2 weeks or every day now currently something new happening, big momentum happening, and really adapting here to new tools, methodology, frameworks is not really that easy as a big organization. We talk also for ourselves as SAP. Next to it in the resources, you need to have really the resources in place to onboard AI models, constantly look at it, have orchestration across, monitor, meter it, authorization, all those topics you would need. This also holds true for data, right? You need to have a semantic layer, you need to monitor this and so on. So it's really complex in this world. And then time is, of course, a big topic, right? Big portion of AI engineers' time goes to data preparation tasks, engineering tasks, selecting LLM engineering. So how to deal with that in this today's world, because everything is faster, everything is more efficient, and so on and so on. Productivity ultimately is also what then upper management wants, and operationalization also. So we need to really check here how fast can you productize something, and how quickly you can operationalize it and bring it into the system. So that's the challenges we see, and now we try to tackle each of these organizational challenges or challenges overall with the upcoming presentations that we have. So overall, what we have in AI and or what we have in BTP for AI is a couple of different tooling. And here it's important part to understand that we provide the same tooling to you as a consumer that we use internally, right? For our services and applications and so on. So out of the box tooling so that you can build faster, efficient your applications, your extensions, your agents, and so on and so on. That's the top layer. And if we now go each layer down, you see we have AI-assisted development, we have tools and services inside, we have technology and capabilities that we also provide in an easy manner to be used, and then the actual foundational services for AI underneath. And without going much into detail, I would now hand over to my colleague Christoph to take us into the realm of HANA.
Thank you very much, Hadi. So SAP HANA Cloud is the database as a service, the persistency and processing engine for all SAP applications running on SAP Business Technology Platform. Certainly, it offers all the capabilities you would expect from the database, including HANA's in-memory performance for transactional and analytical workload. But on top, it also adds elastic scalability capabilities leveraged by many SAP applications to temporarily scale up for, let's say, monthly predictive or analytical workload like forecasting and planning tasks. And you have the access to cloud data stores like data table in SAP Databricks, HANA Data Lake files, etc., just to give you some examples. But here in this session, we want to focus on the role of SAP HANA Cloud and its capabilities also for building custom AI application. And as you can see on the right-hand side, there are capabilities which serve the retrieval augmented generation, these generative AI scenarios, but also for core custom predictive scenarios as well. And we'll look into both ends. For retrieval augmented generation scenario, certainly one of the key paths to enrich the scenario and to improve the results is to provide context data from your business documents. So if you have text documents stored along from your application inside the HANA Cloud database in the first place, you can use in database text embedding model capabilities or reach out to Gen AI Hub for text embedding models, vectorize those texts, use the vector engine for similarity search to retrieve the top K best documents from your search queries, then use our new re-ranking model, a cross-encoder model, to improve the search results provided to the overall retrieval augmented generation task. Or you can even make use of the knowledge graph engine for graph RAG type of scenarios in context of your generative AI application. So HANA Cloud serving as the context store and retrieval store for that context information for your application. That's the first scenario. Kind of a new dimension of scenarios are agentic business processes. And HANA Cloud as the data backbone and data foundation with its capabilities like knowledge graph engines, similarity search capabilities is also prime time set up for serving discovery tools and SQL generation tools, which we showcased already at TechEd and which we'll be releasing in a beta version end of this quarter and GA in the second quarter, allowing you to build natural language type conversational tasks and applications to get information about your data, something like where can I find information about sales of my customer against your custom data model provided by the SAP HANA Cloud database. where the agents basically act on a custom-generated knowledge graph, which is summarized using generative AI hub LLM model interactions and retrieval capabilities of the HANA Cloud database for generating the best results based on the natural language inquiries you provided against your data. This will be enriched with administrative task-based agents in the summer, as well as kind of agentic memory as a new capability of HANA Cloud, providing persistence of conversations text as part of the HANA database engine, serving all kinds of generative AI and conversational and agentic applications throughout SAP. So that's another feature which will be coming in the second quarter this year. However, for custom AI application or predictive type of applications, the database AI engine provides trending and automated functions in the area of classification, regression, and most prominently time series forecasting scenario. And these functions are natively built into the database engine and therefore process your data co-located within the system of record where your data resides, with certain capabilities for massive data parallel processing when it's needed to not build a single forecast model, but maybe thousands of forecast models in parallel. So these capabilities are available out of the box for building your custom AI application. Certainly powerful tools and capabilities. However, as we know it, custom implementations require also the custom effort. So therefore, compared to what we'll see later, Tabular AI and foundation model capabilities for predictive cases, the implementation effort is a higher one, but certainly is always an option still to pursue to build your custom AI scenario. What this looks like, we can have a brief look here at a service ticket classification example. So I have a table in here where I have service tickets classified by different categories, access, storage, etc., administrative tasks. And what we can do now, build classification model using HANA Cloud's AutoML engine, where we can now, as the only feature, pass in, as you can see it here, a text variable, ticket text, specify some of the classifiers we want to probe, gradient boosting, multi-layer perceptron, random decision trees, and then we have embedding operators which automatically kind of semantically decipher the text data and build a classifier model out of that with this AutoML fit function, which we can see here, and it can all be used from SQL. So very simple to make use of if you are a database developer. Then the engine comes up with a model and two operators, a classifier. The classifier chosen is the multi-layer perceptron, and some embedding of the text function used behind the scenes. And secondly, we can also use a score function here to evaluate the model performance. We see the PAL pipeline score function, which we can pass in. And then as we run it, if we look into the results, we see what is the actual label versus the predictive label, the confidence of that prediction, just based on the text data we fed into the scenario. And certainly then in the second result here, we can also see the quality of the model prediction. So an example of such a narrow AI custom implemented application. What we presented also at TechEd and will be releasing now in Q2 will be a simple SQL function calling out to SAP's Tabular AI foundation model, RPT1, from HANA Cloud for the benefit of these on-the-fly prediction without all the tasks of preparing, managing, creating specific machine learning models, benchmarking algorithm against algorithms and parameter against parameter. So it's a very simple and straightforward experience, unlocking these accurate predictions without much effort and very much fast forward. And also to give you a glimpse here again, to what we also showcased at TechEd, it is really a simple experience, a lab preview here again of what we will be releasing in this scenario. We have some data about fraudulent transactions, and as we can see here, this is the transaction data we are feeding into the scenario. Just to give you an idea, fraud is our target metric here, which we want to predict in the end. And then as we step into the actual prediction call, what we have here is a function called foundation model predict. And what we feed into the model is basically once the context, that's basically the information about what are the specifics about the data structures where we want to provide predictions. And in this set, we see we have all the features plus our target column fraud here on the right-hand side. And then in the predict set, which we pass in, we have all the feature, the ID, but we don't provide the target column because that's the one we want to predict. And as we then execute this, there's just some information here about the specific parameter which we are making use of, but just to see how this then executes, it's pretty fast also with prediction speed. We get the predicted values, is it fraudulent or not, together with the confidence provided by the model. And with that, I think Hadi is going to show us now how this is operated and designed within Generative AI Hub. Handing over to you.
Perfect, thanks. Let me grab the screen share, 1 second. Great. Okay, so we are back here. Let me see. No, didn't jump into this right slide. Let me quickly go here. So let's now talk quickly on the Generative AI Hub. We already saw it here and there on the slides, but just maybe also for those of you that don't know the Generative AI Hub is what does it do exactly, right? So this is a high level, more overview slide. What capabilities are there for you as a developer or technical person? So what you would, when would you touch the Generative AI Hub in BTP is when you develop, deploy, manage custom-built AI solutions, especially when you want to build custom apps or applications, custom solutions, pipelines, and whatnot. Right? You can do this, by the way, also in conjunction to HANA. You saw that there's also integration scenarios there. Either HANA is using Generative AI Hub, we are using underneath HANA, or you would use this as separate components in your BTP application. We will see that also later. But if you now deep dive into what exactly Generative AI Hub provides you out of the box is, one is the first layer is the all model one system approach, meaning all those 40 plus foundational models that we have coming from OpenAI, GPT, Gemini models, Anthropic Claude models, and others are all already existing there, pre-integrated. So you don't need to bring your endpoint. You don't need to set up something. Don't need to connect it. It's out of the box already there. So you don't need also to chase vendor contracts and so on. And you directly can use it. Also, it provides you an instant model switching which we also cover in a later slide in a second. Also saw that in the chat that was raised, the question. So we will answer that in a second. So, and then the next part is the pre-integrated ready-to-use capabilities. So here, no endpoint that you need to set up. Fully managed by SAP. This means all security, all data privacy, relevancy are all covered here. It's a unified authentication because it's all under BTP, right? You would connect your IDP and so on to it, and it's production ready for directly from day one because we use it also at scale internally at SAP across all lines of businesses. Then we look into the open architecture section, which provides you the capabilities to switch models without code changes. Again, we have for that the orchestration service. We will cover that. Then we have, of course, just typical REST APIs. It's purposely API first, the tooling, a generative AI hub. There's also UI for that, but we also support SDKs. But always it's API first. Then cloud native, of course. And what's also interesting for many of customers is you can also bring your own models and run it on Generative AI Hub. We will cover that also later. And then if you look into the enterprise part, which is also a big portion, is we have existing SAP integrations. We also saw in the chat that ISLM was mentioned. Generative AI Hub can be connected to ISLM. Either on-premise or even in the cloud. So that's already possible. There's the pre-existing integration available. So you can use that also in the ISLM ABAP layer. Then, of course, from enterprise readiness, you need data masking because some of the data that you touch as a developer might be confidential. So we have also tools so that you can mask it on the fly, do content filtering, and so on, so that all this covers the enterprise topic. So if you now look into the underneath, what we have, we unify via a single API, especially when you talk about models, different LLMs. We have the SAP grade security and an enterprise governance. And then from an acceleration perspective, what we can provide you is a zero infrastructure. So it's a stateless service, but you can spin up a lot of infrastructure if your use case needs it. We have auto scaling already in place, and we have also built-in monitoring in place, right? So that's holistically the high level overview. Let's now jump into more details. So what does it provide you? As we see Generative AI Hub as the core of SAP's AI operating system. And here we give you, again, all models in one system. We provide capabilities across different functionalities. You see it on the slide. Benchmark engineering is a big topic. Tabular AI, as also Christoph already mentioned. We have the access to those foundation models, and we give you also an AI runtime so that you can use and bring your own models. Let's now jump into more the details, what this exactly means for you. So let's, I will use the right-hand side from your side logic to guide you through. So when we jump into the benchmark engineering section, we have a couple of different services that is there to really make this benchmark engineering really a reality. And because in real time or in real use cases, it's not just, oh, I have the best model, I have the best prompt. You always also need to check with the data, how good does it behave? Is it really appealing to the end users on your side, right? If they thumbs up, thumbs down, can you augment this over the time? Can you make it better? And so on and so on. So this whole idea of this flying wheel of benchmark engineering is that you have an evaluation service. I will cover this in a second, where you can judge how good your prompt and response is. We have a prompt optimizer, which is an automated tool to augment from one LLM to the other, so that you are really agnostic across different models, so that you're not baked into one LLM and after 6 months it's gone, and then you need to reiterate over your application or agent. Then we have the prompt registry, where you would then register the optimized prompt and save it, or your generated prompt and save it so that you can use it in runtime. And if we again go into runtime, we are using the orchestration service with the built-in model fallback so that you can also leverage translation modules and other modules. We'll cover that there. And what we're now adding in Q1, by end of Q1, is the inference observability so that you really can see what does your AI do. Meaning you can store your prompts, you can store your responses, you can store metadata like your end users gives you thumbs up, thumbs down. All that you can then store in your object store and then use that to make your AI even better. And that's what we see as, or what we call as benchmark engineering, which is super important in any agentic system, in any LLM way. This is what really needed. So then let's quickly jump in what the evaluation service provides you out of the box today. So here you build trust with your AI. We're on comprehensive evaluation and benchmarks. We have LLM as a judge, right? Some of you might heard industry metrics, custom metrics. And the idea here is to really not just do guesswork, how good your AI is, really meter it and test it to verify the quality, and then you can do decisions on top of it. So what we have in place here is an evaluation step. We have metric selection, we have benchmark test results, and then of course the result out of that, so that your use case is really tested and not just the quality of the model, let's say. Yeah. Next to that is the new kid on the block is the prompt optimizer, finally also in GA in beginning of the year or end of last year. So what this is really helpful if you, let's say, encounter the problem of, let's say, 2 years ago, you started to experiment with GPT 3.5, but then 4, 5, and so on came in. How do you run, let's say, a productive use case that you have towards the latest model without the effort to completely rewrite your prompt, your use case to test and whatnot, right? And what we really did here is an automation where you select your different models that you want to augment, bring your prompt in, your data, which is a golden data set that you need to provide, right? What you expect from the model. And then the automation runs iteratively until it hits the best outcome that it can achieve. And then it provides you the prompt for that. And this you then can take and use in your application. You could even think of, I have a GPT model, a prompt optimized for that. I have a Gemini model optimized for that, and so on, so that you really can, even in the case of a model failure, can switch to a different model and your application is not impacted by that, right? Basically, disaster recovery or model fallback, we call it. So that's the prompt optimizer and the whole benchmark engineering topic. Then let's look more into the details of what exactly Tabular AI and Rapid One is. We covered it earlier, but let's quickly jump in. We have two models, model versions released. One is the small, which is more for speed, and large is more for quality or a better outcome. And the idea of the Rapid One or the Tabular AI, I mean, today it's the model, but we are working on to make a bigger service, is to provide out-of-the-box capabilities that you normally know from the narrow AI classic ML space, which is classification, regression, and other things that comes along the year. Here, it's a relational model, meaning it understands table. You bring table into it. It predicts you from the context that you provide in the table, a cell in the data set that you provide out of the context. So it's you need to bring context, means you need to bring HANA tables. We saw it also in the example from Christoph, or other tables, and then it's predicting you out of the box within seconds a good prediction. So that's super interesting for us also internally. We also currently have a lot of LOBs, discussions, use cases, and so on. But also we see a huge demand also on the customer side to make their processes much more efficient and faster, right? Because in the past, data science projects took normally a couple of weeks, months, and with this, you can at least prototype much faster and see, does it really work in production or not? Then on, let's say, quickly chime in into the orchestration workflow, which is also one of the bigger services that we have under Generative AI Hub. What you can do is here build sophisticated orchestration pipelines or workflows for your LLM interaction. And please keep in mind, this is in purpose of enterprise business AI, which means that a lot of things you need to cover to also cover your use case from the enterprise perspective, right? So one is grounding. Grounding is just or RAG, right? We also use HANA there. It's just an important step to bring context to the LLM because most of the models don't know your specific business context. Then prompt templating so that it's repeatable. It's the LLM is not hallucinating and so on and so on. Data masking. So often I hear that there are personal information, PII data, or other things need to be masked, bank data, and so on. So out of the box, you don't want to send this to an LLM. You want to anonymize it or pseudonymize it before you send it to an LLM. This is all what you can configure, and it's just one configuration and an API call. You don't need to do this really complex setup of this is what we cover for you already out of the box. Also on the fly translation, let's say you have the case that your application is mainly designed in English, let's say, and your natural language queries are also all in English, but your end users might have different location and different languages. How do you deal with that? Most of the large language models are capable somehow to cover the largest languages that are there, but in most cases, it's really not good in business-specific asks. And what we are doing here is send it to a business translation engine that we have at SAP, get a translation, let's say Korean or Spanish or whatever, bring it to an English on the fly, and then send it to an LLM, get the outcome, maybe translated back so the end user, let's say your end user from your application gets then the answer in their specific language. So that's the pipeline that we have designed here, and it's helping definitely to drive enterprise-grade use cases into production, right? It's not just for experimentation. You can also experiment with this, of course, but it's really about bringing this into production. And then last part is more the hardware topic for those of you that are interested. So here we have also in place an AI runtime. I call it CPU or GPU as a service. What does that mean? So you can use the engine for anything that you want to train or to deploy, right? It could be, let's say, a self-trained model that you trained, let's say, in a Jupyter notebook, or you took a portion, a model from Hugging Face or something else, and you want to bring it into BTP and run it and to infuse it into your business processes. So that's definitely possible here. So you see here custom trained, bring your own model, and so on. That's all possible. And the important part is once you bring it here, we out of the box give you the integrations, right? You have the integrations with S4, ISLM that we talked earlier. We have the BTP integrations with CAP applications. So when you design a CAP application, we have SDKs for that. So automatically you can directly connect to it. So not much of an integration effort. So that's that from a runtime perspective, but this is of course really on the hardware or infrastructure layer. Here we also, over the last 3 years, worked really hard to make it much more efficient by adding the latest and greatest CPU nodes by the hyperscalers and the bigger GPU nodes in case you want to really leverage bigger GPUs for more AI power. And for that, we moved from resource plans, that's a really detailed thing, to instance plan, not so important, but at least that you know that we have the capabilities to really run and serve your models in BTP and connect it to your business processes, right? And here important, of course, really big models and so on, you might leverage what we provide you out of the box with Generative AI Hub. And if you have smaller models, really custom, industry, fine-tuned, whatever, you could run them here. So that's overall. Let's now quickly jump on other capabilities that we have in BTP, so that we really cover all the aspects of a custom AI solution. So one other is a really interesting topic for many customers is the document AI, meaning automated process of unstructured documents. So many customers have a lot of documents in their enterprises, and how do you bring this efficiently into business processes? And here we have the SAP Document AI solution, where you can all the capabilities, access to AI technology, handling, file handling, OCR technology. It's also used in a lot of other solutions that you know from our side. So this is really the engine, let's say, to process documents and bring it into the system. Jumping over with respect of time, looking also to the translation engine that I earlier mentioned. This is Translation Hub. Some of you definitely should know this or know this already or use it. We also use it internally for certain processes to make it easier. And here also, again, what is so important or what's so interesting about this is it's really based on enterprise knowledge and enterprise language, which many LLMs don't have. It's best in translation from quality and consistency, because we use this also across all our UIs. So all our UIs support, I don't know, 100 or 90 plus languages. All of these are coming from Translation Hub. So that's there. And then now looking across, now we covered a lot of topics. Let's now zoom out and see what BTP provides you. And you have now seen many of these services in more detail, but now let's look again from high level feet up. We have Generative AI Hub. The technical services that you find on BTP Cockpit are AI Core and AI Launchpad. Launchpad more the management UI, AI Core really as the core API first backend service. And then we have HANA Cloud, which we already covered. We have Document AI and Translation Hub. Now, now we talked about all the capabilities, but let's see what could this mean for a specific use case, right? And for that, I'm really glad I have really nice use case brought with me today here, which is for our customer, the ABB. Many of you know this customer. And what they did in the last year was to work with us together to make their use case, the RFQ process, much leaner and efficient. So you see here what they did is a reduction in response time by automating this process of 1 to 4 days. Earlier, it was 20 to 30 days to process this. Is achieved by 70% of automation by business AI by using HANA and other things. We see also an architecture in a second. And when they calculated how much their potential saving is, and this is huge, it's what they provided us, is $27 million US dollar, because you take out the manual repetitive task of going each of one of these RFQ documents, long documents, 30 pages, 100 pages, and read through it and check if it makes sense. You automate this, and now the person can really do higher level tasks and look into what is the best offer that they can take, and then process it much faster. As you see also here, 1.7 million days of anticipated time saving, because this was a huge process for ABB, and that's why it's so impactful. Yeah. So for all those technology experts in this round, I also brought with me a quick architecture. You can find it also under the QR link to read more about this use case specifically. But let's quickly have some time to look at this. What does it mean? So you have BTP, you have your sub account, you have your backend service, which is the CUP application. And then with that, you have the HANA Cloud as the vector engine that provides all the semantic data, semantic richness to the Generative AI Hub that access this then in context to the LLM, sends it out of BTP in a secure way, secure tunnel, and gets back the output and provides this into backend service. That's at least this one part. We have also Document AI here in place, because for all those documents, these RFQ documents, we also need OCR handling those things. That's why it goes also through Document AI. then stored in HANA and then goes to generative AI Hub. You see also here that there's an application client or the desktop UI that they used for the end users. So just to showcase that this is real and this is possible. You could also, what's now not drawn here, you could also add any ERP, but of course, best case is ECC or S4 on-prem or S4 private cloud to this mixture. Make your custom AI solution Z fields that you have in ECC. You can augment into BTP, offload this so that you have the clean cross strategy in place, and so on and so on. So a lot of possibilities here just to show from the tooling perspective what we have in place. And now going to towards the closing is how to get started, right? And this is important. This is not now product positioning or something. So with insights in data and data AI and data foundation is always, that's what I always tell my customers is find valuable use cases. Could be something in a RAG case with HANA, could be something with Rapid One, could be something with Generative AI Hub or Document AI or whatever, right? Find them, and it should be impactful for your organization. This is so important, right? Then experiment it, start small, learn, grow, because AI, I mean, in today's world, you can touch it everywhere, and you really also in an enterprise context, you need to touch it, make fast judgments, test it, and so on. So that's at least on that perspective. And then, of course, once you have grown, once you had learned, then operationalize, build frameworks around it, share best practices in the community groups, define standards for your own company, or use what the market is providing. And with that, you can then really boost your custom AI solutions, extensions, and whatnot in this whole field. Yeah? With that, looking at the time, we are through with it. Let me pause. Not pause. Let me stop this screen sharing.
Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you both to you, Hadi and Christoph, for your excellent presentation. And Christoph for already answering many questions, and we still have many left over. So let me come to the first question. When you say run AI on scale, why not also focus on the transition of the priority to the customer literacy as well?
A very valid question, very important question. So, and here we also need to distinguish, right? What we have is in the systems. We have, of course, a lot of AI tooling directly in the system, like as for public cloud. But with custom, and that's why we have this session also, you can bring your ECC data, connect your processes, make them leaner and cleaner so that the clean cross strategy makes your migration easier towards. And I didn't cover it, but we also provide ABAP tooling there. We have an ABAP LLM. We're also working to bring a code generation LLM for ABAP into the generative app to make really your transition much easier from today's perspective. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question is there any extra cost associated due to ingress, egress charges for loading data into HANA Cloud for RAG purposes? How is data securely handled? 2 questions.
I mean, costs certainly are associated with the use of HANA Cloud and the data storing in HANA Cloud. So if you consume data into a side-by-side HANA Cloud, which you store elsewhere, certainly that's an additional cost involved. And if that data is coming from, let's say, consumption of a data product, there's certainly then regulations about data egress from the data product side into HANA Cloud as well. But in general, so if you, for example, take your own business context data, and that's the most kind of valuable for your custom implementation, certainly, then you can make use of the data as part of a RAG scenario, vectorize data, etc. So that should be not a problem with respect to data egress, if I understood your question correctly, as it's your custom data. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Next one, what basis parameters or resource governance settings control AI prediction computation inside HANA Cloud?
Yeah, I quickly also replied in the chat already. So what you can do, certainly first and foremost, apply workload management governance, which gives you the full control, how many threads of your system, how much memory of your system should be applicable to the machine learning algorithms. You can apply performance classes for a given system where you maybe need more compute than memory. For storage, and you can also make use of elastic compute nodes if you need that capacity only temporarily, let's say for 1 day, 2 days in a month during month-end close, for example.
Perfect, thank you. How can Basis expose predictive results from HANA to other S/4HANA, CPI, BTP, CAP securely with low latency?
Yeah, the predictive functions in HANA Cloud, as well as the call to RPT1 procedure calls, can basically wrap into SQL script table user-defined function, which can be consumed in real time by SQL. They can also be embedded into calculation views. And I think the follow-up question then is about caching. So when, for example, used in calculation views, you can use caching capabilities of calculation views for caching results. You can, underneath for the HANA narrow AI models, also use stateful models, which then accelerate for respective larger models, accelerate the predictions down to 20 milliseconds for single predictions. So all these capabilities kind of serve, yeah, that, let's say, scalability and speed for predictions within your HANA system.
Perfect, thank you. What caching mechanisms exist if external apps query HANA for predictions repeatedly? How does Basis handle rollback if an AI prediction pipeline breaks after deployment?
Yeah, I think the question is that prediction kind of real time? Then, as I mentioned, the predict function can be mapped into a calculation view and then maybe pre-calculated if it's kind of more a batching of multiple predictions. If it's real time, you always want to maybe execute it on the most current data. I think that's the nature of the in-memory computation.
Perfect. We are basically at the end. There's a question about the sizing and whether there is any documentation to help with the sizing. Not sure if there is anything like that. Christoph?
I think I pasted in the chat also link to the HANA Cloud size documentation.
Oh, right. Sorry, I didn't. I just see it now. Yes.
Yeah.
No, no. Sorry, I don't.
It's
I
at
don't
the very
see
bottom,
any
I
link.
think. It's at the very bottom currently of the chat. But we'll add it to the here to the thread.
To the slide deck or in the comments area underneath this video. Okay, so that is all so far as I can see. In case there are any questions that come up after the session, whether for you who attended live or people viewing the video, I would like to offer, if you have any questions, just post them in the comments area underneath this video and we will answer them later on. So there are 2 more questions that just popped up, but we still have time. Elastic compute power for larger predictions. Are you using Docker or an SAP-owned mechanism for containerization?
Yeah, I mean, in HANA Cloud, we use our custom, let's say, implementation for serving HANA Cloud database and serving also Elastic Compute Node containers as well. So that is fully transparent for the user.
Okay, and then the next one is, we currently have about more than 50 years of data in our S/4HANA on-premise system. So how can SAP AI provide relevant predictive analysis based on this data for future pipelines and business processes?
I mean, one question, one aspect of that for the nature of SAP HANA, and then you can pick it up. So SAP HANA as an in-memory database has its strength from the beginning in aggregating massive amounts of data. And by aggregating this massive amount of data, we can provide that vector of information, which might be in real time currently relevant to a business process, which then Hadi, for example, or you as a customer can build your custom AI insights on top of that data.
Let me follow up on the question also. So how you can bring it. It's exactly the tooling that we provided. Yeah, it's not out of the box. Of course, you need to provide, let's say, the value or the needs that you have from your business perspective. You need to exchange, of course, with your business unit, but the tools are there, so you can connect to S4. You can use HANA, let's say, for any in database calculations or AI, bring it to BTP to augment business processes and so on. So there are use cases that that we shared, right? There's a lot of architecture information for that. So I guess best case is to really look for it, study for it, and then engage also with the SAP team to see where we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So that was the last question. And with this, I would like to again thank Christoph and Hadi so much for your excellent presentation and for answering all the questions. And a big thanks to all attendees for joining. I hope you got a lot of value from this session. And I look forward to seeing you again in our next sessions again. And with this, I would like to wish you a great day, a great evening, depending on where you are. There is another question that's just popped up. Let us quickly answer that one. We still have time. I do have a business case that I would like to implement. The business case will require to manage English, Spanish, and French. I do already have the business document assessment and KPI. Where is the question?
I guess let me try to answer it. I guess the challenge that the persons are writing here is that it has different languages and how to deal this with AI, right? And what I shared also at orchestration service is that you have this translation module in the middle so that it can query or understand the natural language of the end user. So you as an application owner would set up your AI system in a way that it can understand different languages. So if your end user types in English, Spanish, or French, your AI solution in the application or process can deal with that. So for that, that's exactly the use case that I see in Generative AI Hub. If it depends then on data, if you, let's say, have left documents or other things, then of course, with the power of HANA, you can store those best, I would say, in English, but you can also use different languages to store it on HANA, make a vector out of it, and then when you retrieve it, you can also still translate it to English so that you use the power of the LLM. That's all possible.
It also supports Spanish, French, and English, so it's multilingual in the first place as well.
That's also a possibility, yeah, directly to use it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And so once again, everyone, I wish you a great day, a great evening, depending on where you are. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.